Mercy, luxurious, Heat Nation, yeah, Mercy and Lago, down to Biscayne, yeah, 5 on the floor, ride for my dogs, where here's the thing, you can check the score, hustle hard, couple scars, wearing bubble frauds, down to Biscayne. Kept the flow playing, got it all banned. Y'all seen the block, stop with one hand. And Pat we trust, it's about have the guts. We're here to bring the heat, y'all can hang it up.
Welcome to 5 on the Floor, a daily insider show on the Miami Heat and the NBA, featuring Ethan Skolnick, Greg Sylvander, Alex Toledo, Brady Hawk, and others from the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Also make sure to subscribe to Off the Floor for the most heat anywhere.
And the Miami Heat are going to the 2025 playoffs. After losing their joy, after calling timeouts they didn't have, after blowing 3,000 leads, after losing by 40 at home to Utah, after wasting great Tyler Herro games, after trading Jimmy Butler and bringing in 3 players, after winning only 37 games in the regular season and finishing in the 10th spot, and after having the chance for 2 first-round picks, the Heat do what they do. They compete. They compete. And they competed tonight, and they won. They beat the Hawks 123-114. That comes after a loss against the Bulls. A win against the Bulls. The Heat are getting used to ending the Bulls seasons and the Heat seasons, and then the Hawks seasons. The Bulls and the Hawks. How many seasons have they ended lately? And now for the first time in their history, the only team in the Eastern Conference that the Heat have not played in a playoff series, the Cleveland Cavaliers. They'll face them on Sunday. We'll get the exact time. That's going to start in Cleveland with 2 games. The Cavaliers led the East, of course, this year. The win differential between the 2 teams is 27 games. If the Heat pulled an upset in this series, it would be the largest playoff upset of all time. Larger than the Denver Nuggets and Dikembe Mutombo beating the Seattle Supersonics way back when. Larger than Philadelphia beating a roseless team as an 8-1. This would be the largest. So that's where we're at. We'll take your comments over the course of this live show. I'm Ethan Skolnick. You can follow me at Ethan J. Skolnick on 5 Reasons Sports. We got Greg Sylvander. You can follow him at Greg Sylvander. We got Alex Toledo. You can follow him at Tropical Blanket. We got Brady Hawk. You can follow him at Brady Hawk 305. And my overall theme on this, and then we'll get to the player of the game and go around the room here. My overall theme on this is that the Heat showed tendencies that they showed throughout the season. There was a stretch where, particularly towards the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter, where they started to let things get away. And 3 or 4 guys really stepped up here. And we're going to talk about all of them. Davion Mitchell owned the overtime. But Tyler Herro made a ton of shots to make all of that matter. Bam made some plays to make it matter. Ware was 6 of 6, didn't get back in the game, but made contributions. I thought Haywood Highsmith played a really important game for them tonight. Whether or not you wanted him on the floor or off the floor at the end, he was really good. And Wiggins got you 20 and played defense, even though he was inefficient and frustrating at times and had a bad stretch of his own, particularly with the playmaking and the ball handling. But look, They used 3 guys they got for Jimmy tonight. They got strong contributions from Bam and Tyler. And, Greg, this is what they wanted. I know the fans didn't all want this, but this is what they said they would try to do, and this is what they've done. And now they go to the playoffs as a huge underdog, but they go to the playoffs.
Yeah, and there's a couple things. I mean, I will be the first to say that a 37-win team to me is not a playoff team. So I went into this frankly, wishing that the Heat were drafting like a 37-win team. But they're going to play who's in front of them, and they're in this play-in tournament format. And I have to be honest, tonight's game was a lot of fun. And, it was probably as exciting of Heat basketball as we've had in a minute. So that part of it's fun. They make the playoffs. Obviously, there's draft pick implications that we'll do other shows about, but they convey a pick to Oklahoma City now, which protects future picks. And so that's ultimately what they really wanted. And the only pick that they will have in the first round is the Golden State pick, and remains to be seen exactly where that lands. To me, this was a huge game from a bunch of guys. I don't want to steal thunder from our segments, but it was nice to see guys that were brought in mid-season make big contributions, and Bam and Tyler continue to step up. They won 2 road games to get into the playoffs, so they earned the right to play the Cavs, and we'll see how that series plays out.
There are a lot of guys we could go with for player of the night tonight, so this is going to be a tough one. I'm going to let Brady and Alex fight over it. 2 of you play the sound, and you guys can go with it.
And now it's time for the A-Aggressive Insurance Player of the Night, sponsored by our friend Lynette. You can find her at insurancebylynette.com. That's with 2 N's and 2 T's, insurancebylynette.com. If you need car insurance, renter's insurance, homeowner's insurance, or any other type of insurance, she's the person to go to. Based in Lauderhill, she services the entire Tri-County area here in South Florida, and she will make sure to get you the best deal. She'll probably talk to you about the heat while you're at it. Reach out to her, insurancebylynette.com. And now, the player of the game.
All right, so this is going to be fun, and we appreciate Lynette being here in the comments. As always, make sure you reach out to her. I'm going to give you some stat lines tonight. You tell me what was most impactful, in especially in terms of when it happened. Yeah, you're starting 2 guard or point guard, whatever he is these days. Your all-star went 10 of 21 from the floor, 44 minutes, 30 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Also during an 11-2 run, he had 6 of the points when they got control of the game back. Off the bench, a guy you picked up for, a couple second-round picks, 40 minutes, 16 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 of 9 from 3, including 2 huge ones late in the game. And then additionally, strong performances from a couple other guys. Bam was 17, 11, and 5, but I don't think he's up for this conversation. Wiggins, 20 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists.
Yeah.
Was 8 of 17 from the floor in 43 minutes. Brady, who is your player of the night?
Yeah, I'm making an executive decision. I think I saw somebody say in the comments as well. Co-player of the nights, and it's Tyler Herro and Davion Mitchell. They are equally as important in this game of what they were able to do. Tyler Herro deserves credit because of the fact that he worked into this game. He was not off to a hot start. They were kind of shutting him down from not even getting the basketball for a good portion of this game, and he battled through it, still found avenues to attack. But fast forward to the fourth quarter. I mean, the Heat had a 17-point lead. They blow it. They go down 6 late in the fourth quarter. I think everybody thought this game was over. Like the full momentum of the building. Like Okongwu hits a 3, gets a wide open transition dunk, and you're down 6. Tyler had a pull-up, 2 back-to-back pull-up jumpers, regains the lead, and gets them back into this game. And anytime they needed a bucket at an important moment of the game, when they needed some type of shot creation, Tyler Herro came through in the clutch with just finding separation, finding a way to attack off the dribble. He couldn't really call for a screen at any moment because every time there was a screen, there was the second defender. He couldn't find any advantages getting downhill or just getting a shot off. So he had to create an isolation. And he continued to do that. In overtime, he had, he started out overtime with a 3, but I think probably the biggest shot that's not going to get talked about was after the Heat went up 9 in overtime with 2:40 to go, Atlanta hits back-to-back 3s. And I felt like they were just going to come storming back in overtime, just the way this game is going. Tyler hit a tough catch and shoot, off the catch 3 in rhythm to kind of put them back 6. And that was pretty much the game from there. So he loves these moments. He was so great. But Davion Mitchell also deserves players of the night because, I mean, what an overtime from him. Like, talk about tough shots. When he gets engaged in the game, like when Trae Young was kind of going back and forth with him a little bit there, he just gets like energized to another level and he starts playing, much more aggressive, much better. I thought his passing early in the game was really good. I thought he could have been more aggressive early in the game. I thought he had some opportunities around the basket and he was just passive. But there was some good playmaking in there. But the tough threes, the defense, the bothering Trae, like being able to hit those tough shots late in the game, he was incredible. And it just kind of shows the fight of this group. The fight that Tyler and Davion were showing is nobody cares about your picks anymore. We're done with that. Forget the picks. They're going to the playoffs, and they kind of deserve it after the way this season has went. With all the chaos that has gone down this whole season with a lot of these guys in that locker room, they deserve this moment to just kind of get a little bit of validation and crank their way into the AC.
I'm okay with the executive decision tonight. We can give them MVPs of this particular game.
Yeah.
Coming from 2 different places, though. With Tyler, I feel like if he doesn't have this game, the critics come down on him again. He left a couple of short shots short. in a key stretch, but again, made the big ones that he had to make. Davion Mitchell, Alex, this is like insane. If he has a bad game, it's not coming down on him, okay? Because nobody is expecting him to play at this level consistently. The offensive rebound to me tonight, Brady, you mentioned all these other plays. The offensive rebound that kept that possession alive because he's always around the ball. He's always attacking. The first step is there. I'm here in Sacramento. Sabonis is complaining that they don't have a point guard. They had Fox, they had Halliburton, and they had this kid. And I don't know. He's been a perfect fit. Like, to me, if 3 for 30, just lock it up. Okay, just get it done. Figure out a way to clear out the other stuff. Sign him because he's going to be part of your core when you finally get this thing where you want it. Who would you have gone with, though, if I had forced you? Tyler or Davion?
Oh, honestly, probably. Oh, look, I'm going to say just to lean into a tough question. But no, really, I would have gone Davion. Like, I think Davion, the way he just closed out that game, like, that was something special. That's one of those moments that you remember when you think about this game, even if they don't go on to do anything. It's just going to be one of those things that we remember down the line where it's like, wow, that was, that was obviously the game changer there down the stretch, man. Like, seeing him take shots that maybe normally you don't want him taking. Like, some of them were good open shots, but man, like, they were giving him the ball a whole lot. And that was even before he went on that run. Like, throughout that game, they were giving him the ball a whole lot to create. And like, I was even on playback talking about why is there so much Davion and Kyle Anderson, even though I appreciate what they've brought to the team. It's like, once you get to a certain point in an elimination game, like, I'm expecting the ball to go to their their top 2 or 3 best guys. And so I was already like, okay, stop messing around and just get it to your best players. But man, what he did in that overtime was special. And it wasn't just overtime, like you guys mentioned. He had a great overall game. But man, that's absolutely special performance. The way that he's been, like, you thought like the shooting would come down to earth at some point, right? I was just looking at it, like, he finished the season shooting 45% from 3 for the Heat, right? And then he comes into this game and it's like, wow, he can do it on or off ball. Apparently, like, you're not going to rely on him to do this every night, but it's like he's capable of hitting those type of shots. It's incredible two-way. Like, they got multiple two-way guys in the Butler trade, even though it brought down their ceiling. Something that fans were asking for was, two-way role players. And I think, like, they got those guys, just, it's kind of annoying, for fans that it happens in the Butler trade, but that's what they got. Like, Wiggins and Mitchell have been fantastic, and Anderson has been like a kind of like a bonus there. Like, those are good players, man.
I'm going to use the phrase again. They got an alpha role player. I know. I'll use the other one, Greg. Riley has a saying. I've cited it many times. The playoffs tell. But to make the playoffs, the play-in tells a little bit. These were not strong teams that they faced. These were not difficult road environments. These are 2 play-in teams that have been stuck there for a while. But when you see Tyler want the moments, you see Mitchell want the moments. I thought Wiggins went through a tough stretch tonight, but he didn't shrink, and he was there at the end. We know that Haywood has been in these moments before, has one of these moments, and obviously rounded up with Bam. I think at least there's some confidence that, okay, they've got some pieces that when they get what they want around it, okay, or in front of it, which is really what they need to do, get somebody in front of it, that they'll have guys who are not afraid of these situations. And I just, that's been the thing for me with Mitchell is he's doing everything you wanted Kyle to do. Right?
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, and he plays much smarter than I expected him to, because with his speed, sometimes you can get a little out of control. He's not that player. He's really measured in the way that he gets to the basket. He's always under control. The defensive stuff has been awesome. The intensity that he brings, the shooting has been a plus. Like, all of it is connected for him, and it's a perfect time because he's looking to get paid. And the other thing about Tyler that I just want to mention, because through the play-in, he averaged, 34, because he had 38 and then 30 again tonight. When he's playing 37 minutes or more, and I think throughout the next series he's going to play that kind of minutes, I'm interested to see what his efficiency looks like and what his stats look like against Cleveland, because I think he has an opportunity to have a big series. And I think Bam also has some interesting matchups. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves because we haven't even got through all the segments on this post-game show. But it's going to be an interesting series. I think that Cleveland presents a unique matchup. Boston, I'd be much less confident about.
All right, and that's the last time we're going to mention the Cavs, because otherwise, if I keep this open to the Cavs, we have no content for tomorrow. I'm going to have Brady and Alex breaking down everything that they're going to do. Let's marinate on that for overnight. Obviously, the Heat had a win against the Cavs this year. They also had a big loss against the Cavs. They had a big lead that they blew. We'll get into more of it as we go forward. Let's play the next one. Let's do the play of the night, because I want to give someone else some love.
And now it's time for the X-Ray of the Play of the Day, brought to us by our friends over at Mobile C-Arm and Staffing Services. Nelson and his team will bring the X-ray equipment and the staffing to you. If you work in a hospital or a medical office, get a consultation today at c-armandstaffing.com or give them a call at 561-891-9620. Their fleet of trucks at your service. Again, it's Mobile C-Arm and Staffing Services, 561-891-9620. And now, the X-Ray of the Play of the Day.
All right. Does anybody want to talk about what ended up with that Wiggins thing at the end of regulation, or we just want to skip that? What were they trying to do? Because he wasn't the first option.
I mean, they were trying. I thought they were trying to do exactly what Atlanta did the play before, kind of like the momentum play for Tyler to run in the downhill like Trey did, but Tyler didn't even run. Like once they were like gathered in the backcourt, they were like, I actually thought it was gonna be a Bam kind of fade away in that baseline because it's something they've gone to a lot, like the one in Brooklyn. But they leveraged it with Wiggins, and it was just a rough look. So we're going to look past that. I mean, there was some other ones that were mixed in there that they just had some, like I said, there was the Tyler ones, the Davion ones. I'm going to give my play of the game, and it's the random one where Bam, late in the shot clock, had to attack the free throw line and shoots, and the ball just lands in Haywood's hands for a tip-in. Like, that needs to be the play of the game because that describes their season. It just describes the way that they're just clinching their way into the playoffs here. Like, it's just randomness and chaos and everything, along those lines. So that's my play of the game.
I could have cited any of the Tyler ones. I thought the play where he turned the corner, got in the lane, he got space on Daniels. We talk about playing against elite defenders, long defenders. Does he need a screen? Not there. We've seen him find all these other ways to separate. That are really impressive. And again, when we talk about Cleveland, we'll get into it more because he's got a couple challenges there, but they don't have great defensive guards. Alex, anything else that jumped out to you?
Honestly, man, it's really hard for me to think past just the entire Davion stretch, but I already spent so much time talking about him that I don't even want to get to that. Like, there was also the Wiggins one that was similar to the Haywood one you guys brought up there. Like, that was such a wild game. Like, everything just happened so quickly. That game was kind of like it almost made you dizzy at one point when they were like going back and forth without a bucket for so long for a while there in that fourth quarter. Like, it just went by so quick, and there was so many like crazy plays. Like, I would love to watch the end of that game again just to you know what I mean? Like, go through everything again. Because that was just one of the best games of the season. You know what I mean? Like, there was so much chaos, and I think chaos in general is a good thing for entertainment. And, like, if you're a Heat fan, you're just happy you're on the other side of it, even though I know that's kind of a polarizing subject right now. But you know what? Like, it's extremely impressive. Like, I know it's the Hawks, it's the Bulls. Like, the mid, like, is at a different level with those two teams. Like, these three teams, honestly, are in the play-in every year for a reason. So I don't want to make too much of it, but at the same time, I'm very, very, much impressed by just what they've done and getting to the other side of this and how they did it. Like, they really punched back every time a team looked like they were making a run. And, man, it got – I know people were clenching over there once the Hawks went up 6. Like, that
they were down 6, and we mentioned it was basically a Tyler, Davion with a little bit of Haywood run in there that got him back. And one of my concerns was that Spo doesn't tend to change his lineups. You go to overtime, and he will roll the same 5. He did use Anderson at the end of regulation, but he basically was rolling the 5, and you start to worry about, do they get tired? Do they give up rebounds? So let's talk about this. You know what? Let's throw it in the Defending the House segment because I want to get to Ware more specifically because I think –
And now it's time for our Defending the House segment, sponsored by our friends over at The Real Estate Shop. You can find them at realestateshopfl.com. That's with 2 P's and an E, realestateshopfl.com, or at the Fort Lauderdale Realtor on Instagram. This is Javier Iglesias and Amanda Martin. They help buyers and sellers in real estate. They're nimble and protective of their clients. They service the entire Tri-County area. That's Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties with a proven on-market strategy. The Real Estate Shop sellers earn the most money in the shortest time frame because Amanda and Javier have a deep understanding of the local market. So check them out. Again, it's at the Fort Lauderdale Realtor on Instagram, realestateshopfl.com, or give them a call at 954-268-9812. And now, who defended the house?
All right, let me go to all three of you because this is going to be an issue in the Cleveland series, but I'm trying to hold some of it back here. Okay. Just answer yes or no to this. Did each of you see enough from Ware tonight that you trust him to play bigger minutes in a playoff series? Because there's criticism of Spo for not bringing him back at the end of that game. We talked about why on playback, although honestly, I would have brought him back for a couple of those possessions. I would have taken Tyler out and put Ware in. But I understand what Adele was saying about you would have gotten Ware in the pick and roll and all that. But I understand the reasoning behind taking him out. Does everybody feel more comfortable? Same comfort? Greg's start, I guess, with Ware playing big minutes?
Yes. I mean, I feel like for better or worse, you're finding out what you have in him, and he's getting playoff level competition. Like, there's no downside to this. So I feel, I mean, tonight he was 6 of 6 from the field, almost had a double-double, 12 and 8. I mean, he played 21 minutes. I think that his minutes could be up if he's not in foul trouble in the Cleveland series. So he has a huge opportunity. I don't think that there's any reason why they're going to shy away from that. I think that they'll lean into Bam and Ware against the big front line in Cleveland. So I'm feeling good about Ware's season in general, but also his games in the play-in. I feel like he showed up just enough for them to win 2 on the road.
Brady, Alex, would either of you brought Ware back for the last few minutes?
I don't think I would have done it for overtime just because of the rhythm they had defensively. I would have done it for like possessions like the last one that Trey got the bucket on, like just to have him below the rim as a deterrent when they're probably going to go for overtime at that point. Or if you want to blocking the inbound, like I think he's a usable piece in those situations. But as we know, Spo just doesn't really make those type of changes. I'll say this real quickly because I know this would have been the topic of the night if Miami ended up losing this game. Like we would not be talking about this specifically. Tyler Herro was at 28 minutes played at the end of the third quarter, and he sat for that extra minute and a half to start the fourth, and that almost lost them this game. Yeah. That's kind of when the turnaround started. Turnaround has happened in so many games this season. On so many post-game shows, we've talked about that stretch where they either keep Bam or Tyler off the floor for that extra minute or two. That's the extra stretch. They go to their bench unit, and it kind of goes south. It happened again early in the fourth. When you have 28 minutes logged and you could play the guy 40 minutes. He's young. You're in a winner go home situation. I just want to mention that because as they go into this series here, I mean, they have to be willing to play these guys for a couple extra minutes because this has the potential to be a short series if they try to save guys for these extra couple minutes throughout games.
I'm with you on this. I don't want any non-Herro Bam minutes. I just don't. Like I don't think they're in position to do that. What it does is it forces Wiggins to handle more, I think, than you want him to handle. And I want him doing the other things he did tonight, which he ended up again with 28 and 8, close to 50% from the floor. He's going to play all those big minutes. He played over 40 minutes. So we should give him a little bit more praise tonight. Again, there was that one stretch that was a little shaky, but Tyler had a stretch that was a little shaky too, and he rebounded there at the end. Did we run the Defending the House segment? We did.
Yeah.
Okay. Thoughts overall, guys, and then we'll get to Cleveland on the next episode. Thoughts overall on Bam tonight, Alex?
Again, impressive, man. This is honestly like everything that they talked about when they were losing, when they went on that 10-game losing streak and getting on the other side of it. All of a sudden, it's it's like, okay, maybe he was on to something. And like I kind of felt like that to a certain extent already because I understand what he was trying to say as far as like getting rid of bad habits, making less mistakes, like trying to improve the process little by little. Like those things, that's how you get better, right? It's little by little. And it was a team trying to find itself after just frankly like a franchise derailing type of situation with what happened with Jimmy during the season. Like that was a complete circus, and it was a tough circumstance. And even though like I don't believe that there's some awesome team or whatever, they were better than that 10-game losing streak. Like we all thought that at the time. And I think they're showing that it's not just that, they're a team that can run out of gas because of their lack of talent. They can punch back and make good decisions in the clutch. And although you're not going to get like a crazy stretch of Davion Mitchell threes like every game, they're putting themselves in a good position by sticking to their defensive foundation, like sticking to the game plan, executing it well, like not letting things get out of hand. And even if you give up a run, you punch right back. And I know I keep going back to that, and I haven't thrown out as many numbers as I usually do today, but it's more about that stuff I feel tonight, because it's like we know what their scheme is. Like in general, they make certain tweaks to it at times. And like, for example, I didn't really love how much they were conceding the Tyler switch tonight. And I've been, kind of saying that throughout the season, especially in a game like this, in an elimination game, for as much as I've loved like Tyler's perimeter defense for the expectations I have for him. Like it's been probably the best it's ever been in the sense of like, getting to the spot, right? Just in general, I think like they're not going to be able to get away with that versus the Cavs. And going back to the Ware, like you might get picked apart by Garland and Mitchell. Like I think he's going to have to earn his minutes playing, like showing that he can guard the pick and roll and stay on the floor defensively, because he still gets caught up, over committing to guys on the pick and roll. He'll switch completely, late switch onto the guard, and I end up giving an easy point down low on the other side of it. Like I just think he has these things that he needs to work on, and if it's not happening, Spo is not going to just give him the minutes. He has to work on these things, and he has to work on it now. Like I'm somebody who's just in general like, yeah, I want Ware to get the reps, especially against a too big lineup for sure. Like on paper they match up well there. Like it's a good matchup for him to get minutes. But in general, like this is going to be the tiniest of margin for errors now. So I think like in general, Spo is going to go to who he trusts. And now it's going to be like, you thought this is a real, like, if you thought what they did before in the Jimmy years was a Cinderella run, they've got an opportunity to do something here.
Well, that's going to be the pitch.
It's probably not going to happen, but you know what? It's good that we're at this point, and we you can have that just like in your head, like, hey, this team can compete with the Cavs. Look at the last time they played them and all that stuff. Like, adds a little bit of hope after a 10-game
traffic
and a year where you lose your star. Like, I'm glad there's some feel good here for the fans. You know what I mean?
Well, I think some of the fans are not going to come around on this if they get eliminated in 5 games. We know that. They're going to say, why did you bother with this? You should have just taken the pick. But again, they'll cite their history. They'll talk about how nobody wanted them to try to compete in the second half of the 16-17 season. They won 30 out of 41 games, and they end up falling in a draft and take Bam. So they'll talk about it being part of their, not screwing with the karma, all of that kind of stuff. We'll get into the tactical and perhaps like future reasons why this series could matter for them, even if they lose. So we're going to do that on the next ep. But let's just close here. Overall, again, this is a 37-win team, team that doesn't belong in the playoffs. With the regular rules, they wouldn't be in the playoffs. I guess it's been more watchable basketball over the past month. So I'll let Greg and Brady weigh in on this. We'll close it. Like this has been a hard season to watch, but I think at least there's some green shoots. Like I think people actually enjoy watching Davion Mitchell compete. Like that's where we're at. Watching Tyler grow into these situations. And actually projecting now, we'll see maybe Jovic in the next series. It looks like he's closer, so we'll see if they work him back in. Brady, to you, and I'll let Greg close on it. What was the best part of this play-in for you?
I'd say Tyler Herro being defended like a number one option in meaningful games and being able to respond with 2, big time performances and putting up this many points in back-to-back games. That's kind of the big takeaway. I mean, ideally, this is not the position he's going to have to be in moving forward. Hopefully you can get that guy where this doesn't have to be his constant role. But the fact that he was able to do it, considering the fact of the way last season ended in Boston and the way he was defended and all that we talked about at that time, we're seeing a crazy turnaround in a year later of what he's able to do. So that in itself. But I just want to mention a random play that just popped in my mind from this game, as well as possibly my favorite part of this play was Kyle Anderson hitting those 2 corner threes in that random stretch of the game for no reason at all, like just like launching them, just like, yeah, that was that's hilarious, because that's the season this has been. Like, it's just like your best shooters, I mean, they're just peaky at the right time. I mean, they're shot almost 40% from 3 in this game, but like when you get that type of shot making from the edges like Kyle Anderson, yeah, it's gonna help.
Greg, close it. What do you take out of this?
I think it's interesting to see that Spo has settled into a rotation. You clearly know the 9 guys that he wants to play. I mean, I know that in the game against Chicago, they got a little bit of, Jaquez and Kashad Johnson minutes late, but really they've settled in on the 5 that start with Donovan, listen to me, Davion Mitchell, Kyle Anderson, Haywood Highsmith, and Duncan. And so we'll see if that measures up against Cleveland. They're on a short turnaround here, so that's going to be an interesting thing to see how they react. But if there's ever a game to steal, it's that game 1. So I'm interested to see how it goes. This play-in was fun in that the Heat keep getting involved in these, and every single time, at least it's fun to watch. So if nothing else comes out of it, at least we've had some entertaining Heat basketball, and they're in the playoffs for the 6th straight season, which again ties Eric Spoelstra's longest stretch for consecutive playoff years.
And this is what they wanted. So if the fans didn't want it, take it up with them. They're going to try to compete. The one concern the fans are going to have, and I know this is going to come up over the next 24 or 48 hours, is this going to convince them to quote unquote run it back? I don't really think the results of this particular run are going to affect them. I think Jimmy forced them to choose a direction. They're already heading that direction. It's going to be more about opportunities in the offseason. All right, thanks everybody for joining. We had more than 3,000 on here at one point, so that's a crazy number. I guess some of you still care. Thanks, yes, happy Easter to all of you, or whatever you guys celebrate. We appreciate everybody being here in the comments. Subscribe to Off the Floor, Prize Picks, use the code 5, and Playback will be on playback.tv/5RSN on Sunday, and maybe we'll do a little bit of a film study tomorrow. I might actually go to Cleveland for the first time since 2015. I don't know. Should I jinx them in person? Probably not. Have a good night, everybody.